Okay, so welcome to Myriad News and this little overview video. So first of all, what have we got here? Over the left-hand side is our story category viewer and our story viewer as well. So over here on the left-hand side, we've got all our stories. We can narrow it down into local stories. They're all coloured green. They're stuff that we have produced in-house. Also, you can see here we've got a couple of stories that have come in via email. They have the email prefix at the front, so these have been sent into our specified email address, some of them with audio attached as well. We've got our wire feed, so everything coming in from IRN in this example here, with either just text or in some instances audio as well, and that audio gets captured in, and you can narrow that down into bulletins and headlines and highlights. And so there's a way of looking in there. So there's our headlines. Double click on the story to bring it up into the proper story viewer and editor on the right hand side. We've got our tweets coming in, so we can have a look at tweets from there. There's P Squared and then BBC Rory Kathleen Jones. You can add more in. RSS feeds, you can take a look at all the RSS feeds that have come in. We've got here BBC News and also a BBC Essex feed. Story archive, that's where all the old stories go off to. Any audio that we've recorded into the system, we can have a look here at local audio. And you can also narrow things down here into preparation and into different areas. Anything that's been captured as well will come in here, and audio archive the same as. And then all of the bulletins, they live in here under the All Bulletins categories. So that's a way of navigating the stories. You will actually see up here, if we just go back to All Story categories, and we look here, this one is red. Now that's red because it contains the word Essex in the title. And I've set up here as part of the database settings to look out for the following words. And so if any of the words in the stories contain a certain name or in fact any phrase, they will be highlighted in red, and so that way we can edit the list and we can add in more. So it might be that we've got a specific issue around army, and so we could add in army and Essex, and so that will show any new stories that have come in. We'll show them in red here, so we can make sure that we then open up the file because it might be something useful for our use. This one's come in via RSS, so it's actually got a hyperlink to the actual full story, so we can click on that and we can see what's gone on in the news today. We can just close that down to go back to the story view. So that's the way to navigate and see the stories. Down here, we've got Stories Audio Bulletins. You can go Carts. That brings up a little mini browser, audio browser. Any contacts that we have. So we might want to speak to Bob, the football manager. We can bring him up and we can get a hold of his phone number and give him a call if we need someone to chat about that. And then websites here, a little website browser just enables you to bring up some certain websites that you might have interest in seeing. So that's a built-in web browser, and you can sort of do some copying and pasting from those. We can close those down to get rid of that view over there, and then we can just go back to our stories and view. Down here you can see the current time, and you can set this here to go yellow and then red because it's warning you that you're coming up to the next news bulletin. You can add a new item down here, and so that will create a new story. Depends what view you're in as to what that does. You've got the same over here as well. You've got the ability new story, new audio, new bulletin, new contact, new website. And depending on what view you're in, you could just click on that button directly and it would do a new print. Speaks for itself. This way you've got the ability to kind of get rid of the story viewer and the category tree as well. And you've also got a little toggle here, wide panes. So that way you can have the story category tree up the top and then the stories down below. Or if we go back to that, you can increase the width there so you can see them down the left hand side. And Toggling that just turns the whole thing off and allows that right hand window to go full screen. It opens the bulletin window, so again, different bulletin, loads up the last bulletin that you were playing around with, enables you to quickly go in there and read it. And normally best to click on that, and then you can see that. That's the bulletin viewer with audio attached. Just click in the audio to hear it play out, and separator in there, and then some more audio. So that's the bulletin viewer. Over there, you can do that to bring up a Myriad pad. If you're used to Myriad Playout, then you'll be aware of that. And then latest stories here, we can see a little ticker going along the top, which is the latest stories that have come in, captured either via RN, if that's how you're capturing, RSS, or tweets. It's basically newest one. And if anything takes your fancy, just click on it and it will open it up in the story viewer. And that ticker, if you minimize the application, that story ticker carries on. You can actually grab it with your left-hand mouse button and move it around. And sometimes that's quite useful. Perhaps also if you're running Myriad at the moment, if I just bring up Myriad Playout, if you're running that, then you can stick that up there and it will always be on top. And so you can be navigating around and just keeping your beady eyes on that should anything breaking news-wise come through while you're on air. So that's if you've got Myriad News on the same terminal as Myriad Playout. So when we go back to Myriad News down at the bottom here, then that ticker goes back into its normal place. So that's that. It's got smooth edit built in as well. So if we go to some local stories that have got some audio associated, here's the audio, and click on there and you can see smooth edit, and you can open it up for full editing. And you've got the usual the usual way of editing in Smooth Edit. It's exactly the same version as you'll see in Myriad Playout. So if you're used to that, then you'll be happy. Down at the bottom here, a quick way of navigating around anything that you've got open up on this right-hand side. And again, with this view, you can maximize it out so you can concentrate on the audio. And if you wanted to, you could even get rid of the titling information, so you can really see the waveform. So that's Smooth Edit. Click on that again to minimize it down, and then click on Close. We'll remove it from the list down here. Smooth Edit built in. You can record just straight in just by clicking the record button down at the bottom here, and you get asked to title it. So this is a new story, and then we can start recording away, and you can see the audio going in. And when you're happy, click on the stop, and you can either choose to save it or not. So we're just going to say no. We've enabled Twitter here, so you've got a big Twitter icon. So down here, you can post directly to your Twitter account. You'll see more about that in the distribute videos. So in here, live from the Hot FM newsroom, and then we can just type in stories around the army, and also a new Essex story. More in the news at 1 p.m. I'll type that in, and then you can just click on tweet, and then it will go off and tweet that for you on your normal Twitter feed. So we've got our Twitter account here, Hot FM News. Story window, we can also post to Facebook, post to Audio Boo, and we can also publish our stories up onto a website. So if we just bring this one up and just do an example, then you can publish to website. Here we've just published to the C drive, but that could be an FTP site, and you can send your stories up onto your own website, your own station website. So that's a very brief overview of Myriad News.